Good morning, children. Here I am with you to take your English literature class as usual. In my previous class, I had already completed a chapter with you, and the chapter it was Michelangelo. The entire notes and question answers of this chapter I will be providing it to you later. So please remain regular and attentive so that you can note it down all these your whatever notes question answers properly. Today we are going to start a new chapter, a new topic, and the topic it is the Enchanted Pool, chapter number 3. Here I am going to begin the very first para of this new chapter, page number 43. Listen it and remain attentive. Let's read a story from the Mahabharata that reflects the wisdom of Yudhishthira. This chapter has been extracted from the story of Mahabharata, and in this extract we are going to understand and learn the wisdom of Yudhishthira. Okay, so here I begin the very first para of this chapter. Please listen it. The stipulated period of 12 years was drawing to a close. This stipulated period here it means the period of an agreement, and the period was altogether 12 years of the period. It was going to an end. Okay. One day a deer was rubbing itself against a sage fire kindling mortar. It was noticed, it was found one day that a wild deer was found to be rubbing itself into the fire kindling mortar. Fire kindling mortar means the fuel wood or the firewood, which generally in the olden times the sages, the people, those who lived, they used to use at their own domestic houses where they lived, okay, in order to burn fire and cook their whatever food materials. This is what they used to do with this fire kindling mortar. They used to produce fire with the help of these fire kindling mortars, and they used to burn fire. So this is what it had happened. One day the deer was found to be rubbing itself into the fire kindling mortar which was belonging to the sage. Okay. So, and it turned to go, the mortar got entangled in its horns, and the frightened animal fled wildly with it into the forest. So, as the deer was rubbing itself into the mortar, and finally, when it was about to run away from there, because of certain circumstance, the mortar happens to get entangled into its horns, and when the deer finds that the mortar has been found to be entangled into its horns, it tries to fly away from here. It gets scared, it is frightened. What has happened with me? What is wrong? So that is why now it tries to fly away from here very wildly because of the fear, because of the frightenedness, with it into the forest. In those days, matches were unknown and fire was kindled with pieces of wood by mechanical friction. In those olden times, ancient days, as matchboxes were not available, in those times, sages, people living in the different places used to produce fire with the help of this type of mortars, and matches were not known also in those times. That is why these types of pieces of woods they used to use by making mechanical frictions, by rubbing against each other, they used to produce the fire from it, and they used to cook their food. This is what it used to happen in the olden times, which it was now found to be here in the chapter also mentioned. So, alas, the deer is running away with my fire kindler, shouted the sage, and rushed towards the Pandavas for help in his distress. In this way, the sage, the holy man, the saint, who is also referred here as sage, was found to be very helpless in condition, as the deer had taken away his fire kindling, that mortar. Okay, so that is why, as he was helpless, he couldn't do anything by himself. That is why he was in seek of help. to whom he goes for the help then? Finally he decides to go to seek help from the Pandavas. That is why he goes to Pandavas in this distressed state, in this sorrowful state. The Pandavas persuaded the animal, but it was a magic deer which sped in great leaps and bounds. Pandavas also, they tried their level best in order to help the sage and ran behind the deer in order to chase it, find it out and catch it so that they could bring the mortar back for the sage. But what they found? They found that the deer was such like a magic deer, and it ran so speedily, it ran away and flipped away so fast that they were also found to be unable to chase it or get it back. The deer was running in such a speed, it sped in a great leaps and bounds. With great speed and leaping, jumping movements, it went and vanished into the wild forest. Okay? So this is what it was found there to be happening, children. Worn out by the futile chase, the Pandavas sat in great dejection under a banyan tree. In this way, the Pandavas were also unable to chase that magic deer. It vanished like a magic, that is why it is referred here as a magic deer. So they were unable to get it back, so they were very tired and dejected, and that is why they decide to go and take shelter and have a rest under the banyan tree. Nakula sighed, "We cannot render even this trifling service to the sage." Finally, who speak out? Nakula. I think you know and remember all those Pandavas, Yudhishthir, Bhim, Arjun, Nakul, Sahadev, everybody. I think you know the names of the 5 Pandavas brothers. So finally, Nakula sighed, takes a long breath and says, "We cannot render even this trifling service to this sage. We are unable, we are very ashamed, we are very helpless that this much of the minor service also we are unable to provide to whom? To the sage." That is why he was feeling very sad. "How we have degenerated," he said sadly. Degenerated, here it means deteriorated or grown worse. How we have become very worse these days. This is what he meant to say. And he was really very sad too. Yudhishthira noticed with sorrow that his brothers had lost their cheerfulness and courage. So finally, Yudhishthira, as being the eldest, he realizes and notices how his brothers were found to be very lost their courages, found to be disappointed. This is what he notices by looking the faces of his younger brothers. He thought they would be more cheerful with something to do. And what does Yudhishthira think? He thinks and he believes something should be done so that we can bring back those cheerfulness especially my brothers' faces. He was tormented with thirst, and so he said to Nakula, "Brother, climb that tree and see whether there is any pool or river nearby." In the meantime, because of a very long and a hard chase it was to find that deer back, even Yudhishthira himself was very tired as well as thirsty. So that is why he instructs to his brother, "Brother Nakula, you just climb over that tree." He points to a tree nearby. "You just go and climb over that tree and try to notice whether any such pool or pond or a river is there nearby so that we can quench our thirst." This is what the instruction it was given by Yudhishthira to Nakula. Nakula climbed the tree, looked around and said, "At a little distance I see water plants and cranes. There must be certainly be water there." So finally, Nakula also, he happens to climb over a tree and then looks here and there everywhere, the surrounding places, and finally he finds out a place where he was able to notice in a far away in the distance where water plants to be growing. And he thinks and he believes, as there are water plants are growing, definitely and certainly there should be water, the source of water in that particular point. That is what he responds to his elder brother Yudhishthira. Yudhishthira sent him to fetch some water to drink. In this way, once again, Yudhishthira tells to him to go and bring some drinking water. Nakula was glad when he got to the place and saw there was a pool. Nakula also instantly follows the elder brother's instruction and goes ahead. And when he goes and reaches that particular place, he finds a very beautiful pool just over there. He was very thirsty himself and so thought of quenching his thirst first before taking water in his quiver for his brother. As Nakula was himself very thirsty, so before he filled the quiver means that particular pot or the utensil where the water could be filled, or here the quiver is referred. In this particular sense, the quiver is referred to the case in which generally the arrows are kept. So he also fills the water. Before filling the quiver, first of all he quenches his thirst as he was himself very thirsty, and then he decides to fill the quiver with the water from that pool for his brother. But no sooner did he dip his hand in the transparent water, then he heard a voice which said, he was very about to dip his hand into that very transparent means clean water, looking as transparent like those of glasses. So he was just about to dip his hands in order to take some water to drink. Something he happens to listen, a voice he happens to listen at that moment. What was that voice saying? Let us see. The voice said, "Do not be rash. This pool belongs to me. O son of Madri," he was the son of Madri Nakula, "answer my questions and then drink the water. You are not allowed to touch my water here in the pool," said the voice. "O son of Madri, first of all, you have to answer my question, then only you are allowed to drink the water." This type of a kind of threatening voice, it was heard from the distance, which Nakula was able to listen. Nakula was surprised, but carried away by his intense thirst, and heedless of the warning, he drank the water. But Nakula did not bother about that voice anyway, because he was very much in the state of thirst, so he did not notice it, he did not give any value to this voice. Instead, he happens to drink the water as he was feeling very, very thirsty. At once, overcome by a great drowsiness, he fell down to all appearance dead. As soon as he happens to drink the water from the pool, what he realizes, a kind of a drowsiness he happens to realizes, and in that state he happens to fall down as if he had gone for a very long sleep, as if like a person who is dead. Okay, this is what we understand from these various paragraphs in this page number 44. Now let us move ahead towards to the next paragraph. Surprised that Nakula had not returned, Yudhishthira sent Sahadeva to see what the matter was. In this way, it took a long time for Nakula to come back. Yudhishthira realizes this, why he is making such a long time to come back. That is why finally he decides to send another younger brother, that is Sahadeva, to go and see the matter. What has happened with Nakula? Why he is not coming back in proper time? This is what he decides and sends to Sahadeva now to go towards to that place where it was noticed water. When Sahadeva reached the pool, he saw his brother lying on the ground. As soon as Sahadeva reaches to that spot, then he notices that his brother was lying down on the ground. He wondered whether any harm had come to him. Initially, he was surprised whether any harm has been caused to his brother. But before looking into the matter further, rushed irresistibly to the water to quench his burning thirst. Before realizing all these matters, before finding out all these matters properly, he also himself was very thirsty. He was dying because of the burning thirst. That is why he decides before to go and quench the thirst first, then only he is going to find out all these matters. This is what Sahadeva also decides. The voice was heard again. Similar voice was once again heard, which Nakula had heard. O Sahadeva, this is my pool. Answer my questions, and only then may you quench your thirst. Similar type of voice it was heard, and similar type of condition also it was made by the voice. Like Nakula, Sahadeva also did not heed the warning. He drank the water and at once dropped down. Like Nakula, Sahadeva also did not bother about the voice. As he was very thirsty, he goes ahead, drinks the water, and also he is also in the same condition like Nakula, falls down on the ground and was found to be almost like in state of dead. Puzzled and worried that Sahadeva also did not return, Yudhishthira sent Arjuna to see whether the brothers had met with any danger. Now, this made Yudhishthira very much in doubt. What is wrong? Definitely something is happened wrong. Otherwise, one after another, his brothers are not coming back. So something is wrong, something is in danger, maybe the brothers are in. That is why finally he decides to send to whom? Now he decides to send to Arjuna to go ahead and see why the brothers are not back yet. This is what Arjuna finally decides. Arjuna to see whether the brothers had met with any danger and bring water he added for he was very thirsty. And also when you come back, you bring the water, as I am very thirsty. You see your brothers also and they bring water too. This is what the duty it was offered now to Arjuna. Arjuna was swiftly, he saw both his brothers lying dead near the pool. He was shocked at the sight and felt that they must have been killed by some lurking foe. In this way, Arjuna reaches the spot swiftly, and as soon as he reaches over there, he finds that both the brothers were lying down on the ground as if they were dead, and imagines and feels as if something has caused harm to his brothers. He was shocked at the sight and felt that they must have been killed by some lurking foe. This is what he finds. He doubts that maybe his brothers were killed. Though heartbroken with grief and burning with the desire for revenge, all feeling else submerged in a monstrous thirst which irresistibly impelled him to the fatal pool. In this way, although he was very eager and delighted to take a revenge to such a foe who had brought such a damage to his brothers, brought death of his brothers, so he wanted to take a severe revenge against him. He was very angry. He was very much at this moment annoyed, and he was heartbroken too. He was sad also that the brothers were in such a condition. But still, keeping beside all these facts, he was also very thirsty too. He was dying because of the thirst, the burning thirst, and he was also drawn his attention towards to that very transparent and clean water, the pool which it had, and was now going ahead to take and quench his thirst, which irresistibly impelled him to the fertile pool. He was drawn very much badly towards to that pool to quench his thirst. Again a voice was heard. Answer my question before you drink the water. This pool is mine. If you disobey me, you follow your brothers. Similar type of warning. It was once again heard by Arjuna too. You have to answer my questions first, then only you are allowed to drink the water of my pool, else your condition also is going to be like your brothers. This type of warning he too, the Arjuna also happens to listen here. Arjuna's anger grew no bounds. He became very angry. He cried, "Who are you? Come and stand up to me, and I will destroy you." And he shot keen-edged arrows in the direction of the voice. As all of us know it very well, Arjuna's anger, isn't it? He could not tolerate such type of warnings, and above all, his brothers were on the ground, so he could not tolerate himself and control himself, his anger. So instantly he removes arrows from his quiver and shots the arrows towards to the direction from where the voice was coming. The invisible being laughed in scorn. The person was invisible, the voice which was coming, it was not seen any person right in front of him. That is why the voice was now found to be laughing. Your arrows do but wound the air. Answer my questions and then you can satisfy your thirst. Nothing is going to bring any harm to mine. Your arrows are not going to bring any harm to me because it is only going to pierce the air. If you want to drink water, if you want to get your brothers back, first of all you have to answer my questions, then only you are going to quench your thirst. This is what the voice once again repeated. If you drink the water without doing so, you will die. If you are going to drink the water from my pool without my proposal, without making the answers clear, the questions which I put upon to you, without giving the answers, if you are going to drink the water from my pool, then your condition also will be the same like that those of your brothers. This is what the voice said here in this particular moment. So this is what we come to learn here, children, in this page of this particular chapter. So we are going to stop it here for today's class. We will be continuing it, the remaining part of the chapter, in our next class. Maybe I hope you are all following the chapter very well and enjoying it. The story is very interesting, so keep it learning it properly, listening it properly, and follow the videos properly, and remain always in touch and be regular and make yourself very good enough for your study and different various type of different study works. Okay, so this much today. Thank you and take care.